Welcome to Friday. It's Friday here in beautiful Cleveland, Ohio. And for all of you out there, I hope it's beautiful for you as well. I can look out my window and it is nice and sunny. So I thought I would go ahead and do a live broadcast today. I was going to go ahead and tape this, record this video, but you know what, sometimes I have more fun when I'm actually live, and I can just tell you how I feel, tell you what's going on. I'm not going to be editing stuff, so you just see it like it is, and like it is the way that I hope you will enjoy it. So today we're going to be talking about a topic that is kind of interesting, in that it's something that I think about often when it comes to my life, and I look back at my life. And we're going to be talking about 7 regrets that we all have when we are over 50. And my guess is that most of us are going to have the same regrets. I mean, we're not going to have maybe all 7 of these, but chances are we are going to have most of them. I'd say 5, 6. And for a lot of you out there, yeah, you're going to have all 7 of these regrets. There's no question about it. Before I get into this video, though, I want to say a couple things. One is I do have my brand new website. It is up. It's been up for about almost, I think it's just over 3 weeks now. It's over50tv.com. And if you go to over50tv.com, what's going to happen is you're going to see get a lot more information. I think that can help you. Information that may be entertaining. I've got a new article up called something. It's about online dating. I've got another one going up on online dating. Got some health related articles, some financial stuff that you're going to be seeing. But go to over50tv.com. More information there, more helpful news, more helpful tips, more stuff that I can ever give you on either Facebook or here on YouTube. So check it out. The other thing I do want to mention, though, is with this video, what I'm going to do is I am also going to be looking at some of my notes, which I don't think is such a big deal. Hopefully it's not a big deal to you. But I do have some notes that I put together here, and they just kind of help me to make sure that I don't forget a lot of what I want to say to you today about the regrets that we have. And certainly, like I said, a lot of us have regrets. So let's get into it now. Let's get into this video. And the first regret that most of us have, or a lot of us have, let's just put it that way. I want to be really careful what I say, because I am now married to a beautiful woman named Dawn, and I do not want her to think I'm talking about her. But I do know that a lot of us have had regrets. And up to this point, when I got married, I had this regret, is a regret about love lost. And that's the number one regret that I'm going to lead off here today with you. Is sometimes what happens is we put off that love that we really wanted, because we're worried about or thinking about that love that we lost. And whether or not you're married, and some of us, yeah, like myself, some of us are happily married. But even then, what we're thinking about that person, that one person in our life that we just think, man, why did I let that person go? What was I thinking? You know, we think about the kisses, think about the hugs, think about the sweet words, and we just say, man, what happened? Why is that love gone? And I think that this, for many people out there, is something that we all think about, or we all have thought about in our life, is that love that is lost, and that love that we'll never have again. But my solution, at least for me anyway, when I thought about the love that I lost, the love that I really, really thought was fantastic, is my solution was to be with somebody who I think is that person, or I know who's that person that's going to make up for that loss. Somebody who's going to make me forget, or help me to forget, not even want to think about that other person. So number one regret is that love lost. And now let me look at my other note here. Now, another regret that we have when we're over 50 years old, and we look back at our life, as we look back and we look at the choices that we made. And when I'm talking about looking at the choices we made, I'm talking about the choices of friends that we've let go or friends that we kept that we should have jettisoned, we should have gotten rid of a long time ago. We also have regrets in terms of our choices about how we spent our time. I look back at my life and I think, well, I wasted so much time worrying, so much time thinking about other things, doing other things, and think about all that time that I lost and all those friendships that I let slip away. And one thing that I've seen and I know from many of the comments that I get here at Over 50 TV is that, we're worried too much. We made these choices and we think, why do we make these choices? And it kind of goes back even to the number one where we're talking about love lost. But we look at the choices we made and then we stress out. And it's like, God, why did I do that? My life could have been better. I could have had so much more. We all feel this way. We all look back at the choices that we made, whether it's doing too much, drinking too much, eating too much, smoking too much. I mean, we have these regrets, these choices that we made, and it's just better to say, I made those choices. Those are in the past. I'm going to make better choices going forward because I don't want to continue thinking about those choices or living with the consequence of those choices, those poor choices that we made. Now, there are good choices as well. And those good choices are what I know we should all be thinking about is those good choices that we made, the things that we did right. Let's forget about all those damn things that we did wrong. So number 2 is we regret the choices that we made. Number 3, and this is something that I was startled to hear this statistic, shocked actually. Number 3 is we regret not saving enough. And I read this article, and again, this fact, this statistic says 74% of Americans have a financial regret not saving for retirement early enough. And I've done some videos on saving for retirement, some videos here on Over 50 TV. You're going to see quite a few more articles about saving for retirement and investing for retirement. You're going to see those articles on over50tv.com. And it's not it is a plug, I guess, right, for over50tv.com, but you will see articles because 78% of us, me and you, yeah, we think, well, we wish we'd have saved more for retirement. We should have saved more. We didn't. And it is an issue. But there are some things that we can do to go forward when it comes to this concern, this bitch we have about not saving is number 1. And I wrote this down here. Prioritize saving for the future as soon as you can. Okay, I'm 60, 65, 70. And I say, even if you're 70 years old, start saving, start thinking, get it in that mindset, start saving. Yeah, if you're 50, 55, yeah, you want to save as early as you can. 40, I wish we would have done that. But that's the point. 78% of people are regret not saving enough. That's just a sobering statistic. But the one thing I'm going to make a recommendation, something that I do is I follow this rule, the 50, 30, 20% rule. I believe I've got a video out there on this rule. I'm pretty sure I do, as a matter of fact. I'll try to look for the video and put a link to it so you can check it out. 50, 30, 20. 50% of my income I have for expenses. I know when I get my income every month, when I look at it and I budget, 50% of my income is going to go towards my expenses. 30% is discretionary income, discretionary spending, but 20% is saving. And saving even at my age, which I never consider myself as an older person, as an old person. What is old anymore, right? What is old anymore? My dad's 91. I don't know. Is he old? I guess he is, but the way he acts, I don't think he's old at all. But save 50, 30, 20%. I do this every month. I look at my budget and I say, how much can I save? I ask myself that. Then I tell myself, go with that 50, 30, 20% rule and look at stocks. Buy a cheap stock or an inexpensive stock that I know and I understand, but 50, 30, 20% rule. Start saving and save aggressively. But that's a regret that 78% of us out there, people who are over the age of 50, that we have, Americans have 74%. I mean to say 74, I said 78. Might as well be 78, right? That's regret number 3. Now, regret number 4 is not taking better care of ourselves. And this one is really close to heart because I know so many people, so many friends, so many relatives, family members that just didn't take better care, don't take better care of themselves. And these are the people, and I remember my uncle who passed away. I remember him walking around when he went somewhere. He had to have an oxygen tank because the guy smoked. He was I loved my Uncle Dick, but he smoked. He didn't take care of himself. He didn't eat better. He didn't exercise, and he drank. But we regret not taking better care of ourselves. And we regret it because we had a chance. For years, we've had that chance to do it. But you know what? It really shouldn't take, it just shouldn't take a major calamity in our life to make us make that decision, to make us literally make that decision to change our habits, to take better care of ourselves. Why do we wait? And then once something happens, we find a get cancer. Maybe something happens with arthritis, we can't walk. We need a shoulder operation, a hip operation, a replacement. And then we have this major calamity, and then we decide we're going to take care of ourselves. So here's the thing. My recommendation is this. It's not too late. It's never too late. That's how I live my life. It's never too late. That would be my tagline, I guess. Maybe even on my tombstone one day. It was never too late. It's still not too late. But the point is this: all the little things that we do, they all add up. They make a difference. Everything that we do, all those little things make a big difference. So my recommendation is this. My recommendation is to start now. Start now. You could say, Lou's making this recommendation. I try to tell my daughter all the time, Katie, don't do, that's not a good, healthy habit. She's going to do what she wants until a calamity happens, and then she's going to change. But that's how we all are, as I said. But the idea is this: don't wait. Do those little things now. Those little things are going to help you have a healthier life so that you can enjoy life and not walk around like my uncle did with a oxygen tank, basically chained to his body. Number 5 here. We regret holding our feelings back. And this is something that I can tell you, when I started thinking, what do we regret? What are the things that we regret the most? It's holding our feelings back. And sometimes we hold back that frustration. Sometimes we hold back that anger. Sometimes we hold back that love, those sweet words that we should have said, didn't say, regret not saying. We hold it back. We hold our feelings back to a point, whether they're good or bad, that they hurt a relationship, because we can't be the real us. We can't be the real person that we are. You can't be the real person that you are when you hold your feelings back, whether they're good or they're bad. And I'm not saying get aggressive and be angry and start yelling. I'm just saying, let people know what you think. And I think that I know this is a regret that I've had in my life at times, not telling my kids, holding them tighter, not saying, I love you enough. I do it all the time now, but you know what? Maybe I'm making up for lost time. Maybe that's what you're going to end up having to do. But don't hold your feelings back. You can't be the real person. You can't be the real you. And it really limits the ways that you can interact and enjoy your family and your friends and your relatives. It holds it back. And one thing I found, when you hold back your feelings, it just kind of builds resentment, because over time you're just like, damn, I wish I would have said this. I should have said this, but I didn't. I held my feelings back, and now look at the situation I'm in because you didn't tell them what you should have told them. And that's number 5. Number 6, important one, I believe, is we regret the boundaries we didn't set. We regret those boundaries. And I'm going to look at my notes here. An example is name calling. Verbal abuse that we accept from somebody because we didn't set a boundary. We let them treat us like crap. Unsolicited advice. And this is one that I know all of us have had, whether it's from a family member, a dad, a mom, a sister, a brother, I don't know, maybe even our kids, they're telling us what we should do, how we should live our life. Dad, I don't think you should be doing that. And this is what you got to be doing. And we know what? That's unsolicited advice. And yeah, it's well meaning and they love us and they're trying to tell us, but that doesn't help. Another thing is when somebody shares confidential information without permission, and this is a boundary. I'm telling, or someone's telling my sister about what I did, or I'm telling my brother about my sister or what she told me, and she's like, "Why did you say that? Why did you say that? Why did you?" That's confidential information. You're crossing a boundary there. Harassment, invasion of privacy, financial abuse, sexual abuse, emotional abuse. Those are all things that go beyond the boundary. And the thing I can say this, if you want to set boundaries, clearly communicate your boundary and set the consequences. This is the consequence if you don't, if you cross that boundary. And I've mentioned to you, this is what I'm telling people. I'm going to tell you the consequence when you cross my boundary because there has to be a consequence. Now, another thing that some of you out there, and I know this for sure, because some of the people that I know, they let people walk all over them. They let people cross their boundary all the time. And my suggestion is this: seek support, seek help from someone who you trust and you love, you can tell them, hey, this person keeps crossing my boundaries, man, and I am freaking tired of their crossing my boundaries. They're always doing this, but yet you don't have it within you to tell them, don't cross these boundaries anymore. It's just wrong. You can't do it. You've got to learn to say no. So find someone who can help you, to strengthen you, someone who can maybe give you guidance, someone who will give you guidance and say, this is what you need to say, or this is what you're asking me my advice. And this is how I'm going to tell you how to set boundaries. But setting boundaries is so important. And I think that's one of the biggest regrets we have is we look at our life and we say, I wish I would have set boundaries because now my granddaughter is walking all over me because I never set a boundary. Or my spouse, I never set a boundary with that person, or my significant other, I never set a boundary with that person, enough of a boundary, a strong boundary, a firm boundary. So now they're just walking all over me. Set boundaries. You'll be happier. Just communicate. Make sure whatever you do, make sure you let them know there are consequences, and you got to stick to those consequences as well. So here's number 7. And this is one that I think for a lot of folks out there who watch this channel, who watch Over 50 TV, who watch me on a video or 2 or 3 every single week. I put out at least a couple of videos, usually more. But I talk about career decisions. And one of the biggest, I'd say number 7, and maybe that could have been number 1, is we regret the career decisions that we make, or the career decision that we didn't make. And sometimes when we think about these career decisions that we say, well, I wish I'd have done that, man, it nags at you. It nags at you. And then sometimes you get frustrated. And for others, you are just like, man, I look at what I did and I just can't believe it. And it's almost like debilitating. It really is, because you're thinking about it and you're saying, man, I wish that I had done this. And because I didn't, I'm stuck in this BS job and I can't handle it. I don't want to be here. I'm stuck here. So you've got these, you have these career decisions and you just regret them so much. And let me give you some examples of career decisions, regretting the career decision. We made a decision based solely on money. Money, I always say money that way, money. We made a decision based on money. And you know what? When you base anything on money, man, you are making the wrong decision. I don't care what you're doing. Got a daughter, she's a nurse, has a great job, makes great money. But you know what? She called me up to ask me my opinion before she took this position. And what she said to me was, Dad, I can make 30% or 35% more money if I take this position, but I don't know that I'm going to be happier there. I just don't know. She says, I'm making this much money. And the difference is significant because she makes a good salary. But she asked me what she thought. She didn't want to make that decision solely, and didn't make that decision, by the way, solely on money. that's the wrong way. And we regret the decisions we make in our career sometimes, lots of times, because we made that decision because of money and then we regret it. And then if we made that decision because we wanted to have more money for our family, we're going to resent the family. Then we're going to hate ourselves or dislike ourselves at minimum. Don't make a decision based on money. We also make these career decisions based on, I'll take this job, but I know I can change it. I know I can make it better. I know I can make it fit. You can't make it fit. It is what it is. Career decision regret is you taking a job because you think you can change it and you can't. So don't try. Don't even dream it. But you're going to regret it. You're going to regret because I thought I could change this job, but I didn't. I couldn't. And now I'm stuck. Another career decision that I made, a regret that I've always had about my career as self-employed, is that I regret putting my family and my friends last. I regret that. I've done that too many times. I made so much money, had so much, I don't know what it was. It certainly wasn't greed, but it certainly was that I just loved the adrenaline rush I got from building a successful business, running a chain of business to business magazines, running and owning a weekly newspaper, building these businesses, seeing all this money flowing in, and my family was last, and they weren't even last. They weren't even they weren't even in my mind. It was just make the money, make the money, make the money. And you make that decision. You put your family, your friends last. And that I learned is wrong. And I spend the rest of my life making up for that. Another thing that happens with career regret we have, and again, this is number 7, is that we took this job. We regret taking this job because we know we settled. We settled. We settled for a mediocre job. Maybe we didn't think enough of ourselves. Maybe we were just tired, I mean, I could say this to you. There were times in my life where I was just like, I'm just going to take this position, this job, because I'm worn out. I'm tired. All this crap happened and I'm tired. So I'll just take this little mediocre job. And I took it, and you know what? I regretted it. And sure enough, you don't last long. And sure enough, you're trying to do something else. Some of you out there, though, you can't just move so easily from job to job. And don't think I could, I'm not trying to say I was able. All I'm saying, though, is we have a career regret. And one of those career regrets is that we took this mediocre job and now we feel stuck. I've got a comment that I got from somebody, and I'd like to do a separate video on it. I'm probably going to do it. The guy said to me, he said he learned a lesson. He said his father taught him this lesson and he learned it very well. He said, my dad said, working at a factory, when you're working at a factory, you're basically committing your entire life to working at that factory. And he said that, and it clicked right away in my head because I knew, and I remember when I just got out of high school, and my uncle said something to me. He said, you know what, you can work at Fisher Body with me. He goes, and you're going to make a lot of money and you're going to have great benefits. And I thought, you know what, I don't really want to work in a factory. I don't want to work on an assembly line, but the money's going to be really good. Well, I knew in my head if I took that job, what was going to happen is I was going to be stuck. I was going to be chained to that job for the rest of my life. And as it turned out, my uncle who worked there was chained to that job. But when that Fisher Body closed and that automaker whole career, the whole industry changed. It just whole exploded. My uncle was left with not making that big buck anymore. And I was fortunate in that I didn't get the job. My uncle set me up for the interview. I went. They didn't hire me. They didn't hire me because they said I was too small. That was a joke to me. But they said, "Oh, you're too small." I was like 5'6" or 5'7". I weighed under 100 pounds. I'm pretty sure back in my 18-year-old days. I'm a little bit bigger than that now, a lot bigger than that now. The point being is I am so grateful that I didn't get stuck in that job. That would have been a career regret that I would have regretted for the rest of my life because I'd have been chained going from job to job, no skills, no ability to get a new job. So that's number 7. So I've just given you the 7 regrets that we all have when we are over 50. And I'd love to get your feedback. If you want to make a comment in the comment section here. And by the way, I do appreciate all the comments I get. I get dozens and dozens and probably dozens every week. And I get back to everybody myself, and I do it as quickly as possible. So if you do make a comment, give it a few days, but there's a very good chance I will get back to you. I mean, I get back to every single person who comments, and it does take me a few hours to do it. So that's all I have for you today, my friends. I appreciate your watching this video. I appreciate your support to over50tv.com. And I want you to know that I'll do my best to support you in any way I can. And it's also one of the reasons why I did launch over50tv.com, my new website, because I feel like it's so important to provide more and more information and to provide a broader scope, not just career, not just finance, but other things that are important in all of our lives when we're over 50 years old. So again, that's all I have for you. I am going to go ahead and hit the end broadcast button here. Before I do, let me go ahead and do this. I'm going to say, have a great day, everybody.